oh, good. Here you're wearing your Navy hat and I'm wearing my Pride shirt.
We got it all covered, all the bases. I got to tell y'all a quick story. And this story is going to make me look like a hero, but I'm not a hero, okay? I'm not a hero. I just want to make that clear. So I was riding my OneWheel yesterday, and there's a neighborhood out back that has like this kind of, I guess it's government housing, and there's always like couches on fire in the driveway, and there's a payphone with needles in it, and it's the best road in San Antonio to go one-wheeling. I would say it's like Black Diamond Moguls because the street's so bad that you have to dive in between. So anyway, I was going, and this couple's on the second floor just screaming at each other, bloody murder, this young couple, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go around the block and make sure that they're okay. And I come back around, and he's got her by the waist, trying to get her into his car. And she's like putting her hands up, trying to block her way. And they're screaming at each other, and they're just hollering. And so I ride up on my OneWheel, and I'm like, whoa, hey guys, what's going on here? And he's like, you get the hell out. And I didn't get off my board because I know I can get away. And I was like, listen, buddy, you need to leave her alone. And then she got away and ran upstairs, and they're still yelling at each other. And so I'm just kind of riding in circles, and he's yelling, and people start coming out of their apartments. And this one lady is filming him. And so he realizes that this is losing battle. So he gets in his car and he takes off. So I went to the heavy lady that was, I shouldn't say heavy, we'll scratch that. It was just the lady that was filming. And I gave her my name and my number. And I said, look, if anything happens, I'm a witness if you need anything, because if this ends up on Dateline, I want to be a part of it. Because I used to joke that I go on patrol on my OneWheel, that I'm solving crimes. Yeah, just prevented a major kidnapping. May end up on, who was that guy that ended up on Dateline? That's John Hall.
Yeah.
John Hall.
On the Netflix.
Yeah, solving crimes. There are beer people out here solving crimes every day. So
that. Good job, Harry. Thank you for intervening. I appreciate that.
For my
that
service.
Can be super hard. Like, that's scary.
Yeah, well, y'all made fun of my helmet because it looks like a police motorcycle helmet. Well, it scared that guy, let me tell you.
I know. I bet you felt like a superhero just floating around, stopping crime. That is pretty cool. And way to go.
Thank you.
The situation's not cool. What you did was cool.
Yeah. Hey, not a hero. Don't call me a hero, Jordan.
I'm gonna make you a shirt. Don't call me a hero. I am gonna design an outfit for you, Harry. A OneWheel patrol.
That sounds great, Jen. I can't wait to get that outfit. I mean, I was like the mall cop on my Segway.
Paul Blart.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to be that kind of hero? Oh, lordy. Well, not to beat a dead horse, but we just got the Bud Light numbers, and they are even worse. Down 31%.
Everybody's worse. Everybody's this go around.
Good point. But I guess the headline there is it's not getting better.
No.
The trend's pretty much just the same, around negative 31% in volume. And, Modelo's share increases are still widening a little bit. And everybody was down. Jordan, I think you wrote about it a few weeks ago. We are not getting all the cases back that Bud Light is shedding. A lot of those cases are either going to wine and spirits or people are drinking less. And so
that's really interesting, because, there's hard data like the scan data we get and all this stuff, of course, and then interviews. But then I think there's something to be said, like you did a few weeks ago, of going through all of the comments. And a lot of the comments are like, my doctor told me I don't need to drink anymore anyway. And I wonder, if this is because Bud Light is an older drinker profile. Like, if this is just a reason for some of those people to just be like, I'm just going to stop drinking altogether. There could be a small amount of that. Who knows? Like
I wrote this morning, the best thing for Bud Light to do right now, because they're just getting ratioed cruelly to hell and back, is just to keep posting, and people will get tired of posting memes. It's just the same memes posted over and over again. And so if they can post faster than memes can be created, they might dig their way out of this. What do you think, Jordan?
One other thing I was going to say about switching is, there are some people that have been drinking Bud Light for decades. And it might be easy for them to switch to Coors Light or Miller Lite, but they may not drink them as fast either. There's people that might have had a 6-pack of Bud Light right when they got home, and now they'll drink some Coors Light and it's fine, but they're not
2 or 3 or
Yeah.
1.
yeah, slamming through them like they did Bud Light.
So I guess what you're saying is that Dylan Mulvaney has saved lives.
Not a hero.
Not a
Not a
hero.
hero.
Well,
But yeah, switching to Bud Light to Yingling is kind of a big shift, you know?
Mhm. It's a different flavor. It's a
Yeah.
totally different taste. It's a bigger beer, right? It's maltier.
yeah. So let's talk about the Carlos Laboy, Mike Mazzoni. I mean, it was brutal. We got a few non-panel wholesalers that were like, it's a little too much. The sample size is too small. Just 10 distributors. They don't speak for everybody. But we got more independent distributors that said, I don't know what wholesalers the panel's talking to, because not a majority of them, are pleased with the current U.S. leadership. So, the report itself, it had kind of just a lot of rehashed things that people have been complaining about AB for years. I would say that the most damaging part of the report was the accusation that these people are not in the trade and they don't understand the customer. And they don't understand chains, which that was a surprise to me, because you always think, AB has the best chain department in the world, but saying that they don't get it, that to me was damning. Everything else just looked like kind of rehashed complaints.
So I will say they could have made an effort to do more than 10 wholesalers, regardless of the aggregate volume, right? Like, and how can you say that the volume of these wholesalers is varied when they have hundreds of wholesalers, but this was just 10 and then it equals 10%? I would think they'd all have to be medium to large, unless, just for the sake of looking fair, why not do 30, right? If it's going to be that one-sided anyway. But yeah, we got, I've talked to some wholesalers because I had made the comment about St. Louis versus New York being overblown. And they said, kind of to that point, yeah, but it's not where they are, it's where they're not, they're not going to the local trade. I do wonder, and, I could ask AB this. I don't know how honest they'd be with me. Remember when they were supposed to have those 5 marketing offices around the country, one in Austin, one in St. Louis, one in New York, one in Miami, and then I think one in LA. I don't know that's happened. I've had wholesalers tell me it did not happen. So that's kind of interesting, and being active can mean a lot of things in a market, right?
Yeah, you got one person in a home office.
I do forget too, if that was made prior to COVID as well. Nobody's really opening up a whole bunch of offices anymore.
I forget exactly when that was said, but I had another person offer the very provocative perspective that these distributors wanted a jailbreak, right? How reliant on AB should you really be? You wanted non-exclusivity.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing some of them took it at this point. To me, the family investors, there's 2 things that they're most concerned about. One is losing shelf space, because a lot of these chains set their shelves according to dollars per square foot that the brands generate. And the other thing is distributors cutting back their sales forces and cutting back call ratios, like we said on the last podcast. And I think that this incentive program that they put forth will do a lot to solve the latter, at least through the summer. The former, I'm not sure. A lot of people have been saying that Bud Light's been overspaced for years. Because of their scale, they can put every conceivable package configuration on the shelf, and they have. And some of those packages that don't do a lot of turn, I could see being cut for the fall resets and freeing up a little space for smaller players and,
Modelo, Twisted Tea. Yeah.
Twisted, right. And canned cocktails, maybe, just shifting the whole set down. I think that's a major watch out. I thought the ad that they put out, I thought it was a great ad. I mean, I thought it was funny. It was self-deprecating. A lot of the comments were that, oh, you're just making fun of Bud Light drinkers. I mean, yeah, the girl eating the watermelon with the rain blowing in her face. I laughed out loud at that. I thought that was hilarious.
Great commercial.
Yeah. The people trying to carry the keg barefoot, though, that made me a little squeamish. I was like, come on.
But you can feel it, right? It brings it to life. You can feel it.
BeerNet Radio does not condone carrying kegs barefoot. I mean, God dang it. I said it once and I said it before. You're not a real beerman unless you've lost a couple of fingers to a keg.
But for this cohort, no amount of marketing is going to make it right. I mean, you expect that. Also, I mean, I don't think we can take Twitter to be the barometer.
No, you're exactly right. It is overdone. But I mean, the amount of ratios is just, it's ridiculous. I just say, keep posting, AB, keep doing what you're doing. They'll run out of memes. I talked to The Atlantic earlier this morning. They're doing a piece on it. And I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but I said there is a case to be made that Bud Light could make a comeback next year. I mean, first of all, they'll have terrible comps, but it could be that it's gotten so bad and they've beaten the dead horse so much that it becomes cool to drink Bud Light. I could see that happening, like amongst young people in particular. So, I gave it a 10% chance of that happening. Or it just continues accelerating its decline.
If it's declining next year, that'll be terrible. But I mean, just to kind of go back to what you said too, I mean, it's gloom and doom right now. It's been terrible. And you think about for Molson Coors, it's been phenomenal. They're not even up year to date. Coors Light isn't even up year to date. So there's time to turn this around. They can't, like you were talking about with that incentive, they can hopefully kind of get those year-to-date numbers looking a little better. It's been terrible for sure, but
this weekend's going to be the long weekend, if you want to call it that. 4th of July is on what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a good place to have that holiday because for a lot of people, it'll just extend to a 4-day weekend. And if the weather is good and if it's as hot as it is, I think people are just going to sell a lot of light beer.
I don't know, man. It's almost too hot to go to the store. Like
Jen,
hot.
there is something to be said for that. If it's too hot, then beer sales do get affected. Not as great because people just don't want to be outside. I took a 15-minute OneWheel ride at 3:00 yesterday, and I almost died. I had to come back.
Don't do that.
I had to lay down just to chug a 22-ounce water, and I was playing video games last night. Yes, I have a new video game computer. I played Flight Simulator. I landed a Cessna right at the base of the Giza pyramids. What? And so I think my license is probably revoked. I got some splaining to do. But anyway, I looked at the computer and it was 101. It was 9 p.m.
Harry, don't do that. Don't do what? Don't go out in the 110-degree weather on your OneWheel. Seriously.
Jennifer, I appreciate your concern. I'm 54 years old. I'm not 80. I can go out in the...
It's not good for you. Okay,
it's not bad for you.
It is bad for you. I get weird about that.
I know. Well, I'm fine. I need to sweat out some stuff,
I digress.
I like this hat. Thank you, Montauk, whoever this to me. And okay, what else can we talk about?
The Constellation keg deal, which seems to be largely resolved.
I mean, I will say that I got more than one text from distributors claiming a conspiracy theory that somehow AB was involved.
I don't think they supply for them at all anymore.
No, I don't think they do. I don't, because you remember that did happen. I think it was like kind of spring break, Memorial Day, probably 10 years ago when all the bottles had a problem and Bill Hackett was like, I know AB had a hand in this. And Burrito was saying they didn't.
Yeah.
That was when the shit hit the fan and Jordan had to hide under the desk and I was on maternity leave. But oh my gosh.
Anybody remember the headline of that article?
No.
What was it?
Is AB insane or just negligent?
Jesus, Harry. It's a good thing I was, Jesus Christ.
Jen, all those people that were there at AB aren't there anymore. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But they all come and go. We remain forever.
Well, at least in this case, I don't think it's Constellation Beer's draft mix isn't largely as much as the other brewers. No. So it's not
it's like 3%.
Yeah, it's relatively small. Not to say it might not be a big deal, but at this point, I don't think.
Yeah. One thing, just quickly getting back to the Carlos and Mazzoni report, this isn't the first time that LeBoy and Mazzoni have teamed up. They've given presentations before years ago, back when InBev bought AB. So, just a quick history. Mike Mazzoni, he used to run Barton, which was Constellation before it was Constellation, importing Corona on the eastern half of the U.S. Constellation bought Barton, and I think that's when Mike left. and Constellation wasn't even called Constellation, it was called Canandaigua, and it was mostly a wine company. So he has grown up in the industry, kind of like me, fearing AB. And so he's always been a heavy distributor advocate against AB. And so he comes from that mind. And so it's not surprising that he worked with Carlos. The question that I have is that who is behind the report? Because I've heard murmurs that it's the board, that the board, Carlos is tight with the Brazilian owners and the Colombians as well, those families. And I'm just wondering if they urged him or even hired him at Mazzoni to do this, to find out what's happening on the ground. So it's a damning report. Didn't seem to crater AB's stock. The analyst community seems to think this might be a buying opportunity to get into AB. So
if I could, I would buy right now.
Yeah.
But I can't. I don't think that would be ethical.
Assuming that this is the worst, then it's all priced in already.
Yeah.
And it's roses from here.
Although who knows if it's the worst.
I know. Who knows?
If I may be great, you have to contain the damage. But I'm at least as fixated on Mick Ultra. Like, where's that big campaign? I mean, you got to pull up the plane because that's the one that's going to pull them out of this.
Mick Ultra being flat is a
huge deal.
Almost as bad as Bud Light being down 30 because that momentum just hit a brick wall, and momentum begets momentum, as I've said many times, both ways. So it's all, it's just beer. We're not saving lives. We're not going to the moon. We're not exploring the Titanic. We're just, gotta take that out. Poor taste. Was it surprising to you guys how many joke memes came out before we even knew those people were dead on the bottom of the ocean? I mean, Twitter just has no shame.
Twitter is awful. I've deleted it.
Really is.
It's just a bunch of grumpy bottom feeders who just like to jump to the worst possible conclusion about everything and people. It's just terrible. I'm not a fan.
Well, anything else, Jennifer, that we're forgetting?
Well, we have Constellation earnings, Friday. We are getting an update from Blue Cloud this week, so that will be exciting. I think otherwise it might be pretty slow because, it's that time of year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, what's a little interesting is just, the sheer amount of deals that have gone down in wine and spirits in the last month.
I know.
That's nuts. It's like something every week.
I know.
It's just crazy. So who knows? Maybe it won't be so quiet for them. So,
I'm just wondering if the interest rates going up and the economy seeming to be slowing down, that's spurred M&A in that space. Or it could just be a coincidence that all these people were ready to do deals at the same time. Very unusual.
Monster.
Yeah.
Nasty. Why wouldn't they just do nasty?
Jordan, I think you put too much into puns, and I think that's too punny for old Rodney.
But then you're just gonna call your drink nasty.
They don't care. They're edgy, man.
Nasty beast.
Nasty beast.
Calling a water liquid death didn't seem to put them on.
Yeah, that's true. I think it'll do well for a year, and that'll be about it. I think.
Agreed.
What the Beast Unleashed is doing right now is what Hard Mountain Dew could have done in year one. And then you get that and then kind of say goodbye.
Wait, why? Why is it doing what Hard Mountain Dew could have done in year one?
Well, because the Beast Unleashed is rolling out nationally, where Hard Mountain Dew was state by state. Yeah. And then.
But you're right. The Mountain Dew's been piecemeal. Beast Unleashed is going national as we speak. And Brett Cooper claims that in their older markets, even the Beast Unleashed velocity is slowing.
But isn't that kind of normal? I mean, you have trial and then trial levels out, right? But that's a great point, Jordan, too. I don't know, man. Predicting this industry is impossible anymore, right? There's just too many external factors. Like nobody could talk about, honestly, like a black swan event. Nobody could have predicted the Bud Light thing. Nobody. No. That's not something you plan for.
We can predict that we'll still be talking about the rum cover over 20 years from now.
He's like, in fact, I personally guarantee it.
Yeah, I've been there. All right. Well, I've had enough of this nonsense.
Non-sensory. Hey, Bill.
Nonsensory.
Bill just walked in. He's got his Montauk shirt on. Harry's got a
wow.
Montauk hat. Don't be jelly.
We're
He's got a
repping.
Montauk hat.
Tell Bill I went to the Wahalote Ranch last weekend and I swam in the lake and rode my one wheel around, and the Black Rifle people have cleared out. They left some Black Rifle memorabilia if you want a t-shirt or something. And so we'll schedule a arrowhead hunt.
He literally just said the word arrowhead and made what I assume is the international symbol for arrowheads, like so.
Yeah. Also a YMCA song symbol.
Also the international symbol for nerd. So
yeah, pretty much.
Just kidding. I love you.
Oh, thanks, Jen. I love you too.
I love you too, Harry, and I love you too, Jordan. I've worked with you guys long enough. I definitely love y'all.
All right. Well, try and stay cool, you guys, and we'll shout at you next week.
All right.
Ciao.